Welcome, guys. Of course, we're forced to be here and present. No, we don't want to.
You
move.
No, that's not.
Why did you move?
Yay!
Don't move.
Forget giving out toys, do this.
You have it right?
Just don't move. Like this.
Do not touch.
Alright, so we're gonna present our little project. I'm standing here, three of us are going to talk, including me, but also Paolo will do a talk about a functional process of the application. So he will show the functional side, click through the little application we built, and Toby will finalize our presentation by giving some technical comments on the product, also showing a mobile view of our product, and also saying something about what we learned here and what our experiences were here at WeCamp. If you have any questions, let us know afterwards, or if you have a really burning question that's really specific to, well, not understanding what's happening on the screen, then I'm sure you can interrupt. But for now, I want to start off with our team. So we have Paolo, we have Midori, we have Toby and me, and we got in a tent and we met each other. And first off, what we wanted to look for is who are we, what do we want to take away from this WeCamp, but also what interests us, what moves us, what do we feel passionate about. And that part, the personal part, we wanted to get that in our project. So our concepts were related to specifically the functional part, what interests us, what makes us move. And one of those stories was Midori's one, and it was a very personal one. It was the first one that came to the table. And whenever she goes in her city of Prague to a restaurant, sometimes she has very negative experiences with going to such a place, even hairdressers, or there are some shop owners that are not really familiar or are not really okay with LGBT people. I struggle with that term, but anyway, they're just people not okay with that. And when you go on Yelp and all those kind of applications, you have Yelp, TripAdvisor, you get kind of this general idea of a place. But those niche kind of things, people with niche things to find in a restaurant, could be political ones, could be ethical ones, but also could be very practical ones. I'm a vegan, which restaurant invites vegan? Which restaurant has a good vegan card? Which restaurant is good to enjoy as a vegetarian? Which one is good to enjoy with families? So we went with this kind of general concept, but for a minimal viable product, we used the LGBT filter basically. We don't have filters yet. We wanted to build in filters so you can select different kind of things. And what you do as a user, you're going to find these restaurants with these ratings. But of course you can also rate those restaurants so that actual your results will be shaped by the community that shares those same kind of niche kind of problems or niche kind of requirements to a restaurant. So that was the concept we went with, and Paolo will show you guys what it actually ended up, how it looks and feels for the user. So
Just F3, I'll get the screen here.
Just drag it off to the right. Just drag the window off to the right. It's here on there.
To the right.
Probably to the left.
To the left.
Or
To the
the other right.
Okay, to the top.
There's no right.
Up or down, maybe? Somewhere.
You got 410.
Okay, so this is what we get when we get to when we go to the app to open the application. So you get an overview it's taken off Google Maps, and it has already our overlay with the selection of restaurants. So it's filtered by restaurants, and you can already see the green ones and the red ones already have votes, and the ones that white don't have any votes. And the way this works, so I mean I can even zoom in a bit more, and I can open, for example, this one, and you get then the selection based on our trait, in this case LGBT friendliness, and I can here and I can, for example, again, not another vote up, and now it's 63%. It saves the votes, everything, and I mean I can also type down here the place again. That thing goes away. It reloads, shows me the restaurants, the ones that are voted, upvoted and downvoted. This one is two upvotes, two downvotes, so we didn't find that to be satisfactory, so it's a red. And this one has a 4 to 60%, and it's a good one. So basically that's what our application does. It allows us to first to get an overview only of restaurants, and then if I want to come here and I want to vote this up, and then I can go somewhere else, and it's going to, yeah, now it's already green because it's already got the upvote. So I know that one is voted and it's positively voted, so it's already arranged for me. So that's basically it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, so you can drag this over there. So, one of the things that I've been interested in researching before I came to WeCamp was the possibility of doing native mobile-like apps. So now progressive web apps, you can do a lot of stuff that native apps can do. There's specifications for doing push notifications, for installing the thing, for caching things locally on your device. So I kind of wanted to see what we could do with that. So once we got the minimum viable product, I then started looking at how we could kind of do that kind of stuff. So here we have the page just loaded in Safari on an iPhone, and you'll notice it's a regular responsive web page. But if you click on the icon down here, you have the option to add to your home screen. So if you click on that, now this is all predefined, so you can decide what your icon looks like. You can decide what it's called, and then if you just click add, you'll see that it adds an icon just like any other app on your home screen. But also you can configure it so that when you then launch that app, it opens in its own container, so it's not Safari. So if you were to show all the apps running, you'd have Safari running because we just launched it, but you also have this with its own icon, so it sits in its own thing. But you'll notice also there's no Chrome around it, so you've got no back and forward buttons, so you have to think about how that's going to work, because users would normally navigate back and forth, so you've got to integrate that into your app. But it looks, to all intents and purposes, like a mobile app. And it functions the same way. Vincent did some cool stuff with the thing that slides in with parallax scroll, so which is quite cool. It's a touch, you've got to touch and drag if you click on. Yeah. And if you scroll the page down, so because it's touch, because it's a touch device, you've got to click and yeah. So. Yeah, it's quite nice. I'm pretty sure that you can turn off that little bounce as well. So when you pull down, the page comes down and reveals red up that you can turn it off. But we didn't manage to do that, or have time to do that. I wanted to do, like I've mentioned before, push notifications and making it offline. However, Apple don't let you do that yet. So it's possible on an Android device with Chrome, from what I've read, but I was working with an iOS simulator, so I personally didn't have a device to work on. I also managed to get certain offline stuff caching, but the map being a huge part of it, I couldn't work out how to cache those files because Google does one-time tokens and things like that that stop things working. So, but there's some really good articles that I found on how to serve up from cache, but then also to then request the updated file, and when you've got the updated file to serve that up as well. So for images and things like that, obviously JavaScript files, once they're loaded and it's a bit harder, but images and CSS files, so you can render a page because everything's stored locally after you've visited for the first time. But then what you can do is bang, serve it up, but then actually I've got some new style sheets for you. So it's really, really good stuff. One thing also that Paula didn't mention, that doesn't work on the iOS, but it works on here, is the fact that it will actually pull in your current location. It doesn't do it because we've saved that setting when you demoed it, but if you were to open it in a fresh browser, it would say, oh, can we have your location? Yeah, and the map centers on that place. Which doesn't work on the iOS device because HTTPS, it requires SSL certificate, and we're currently running with an inbuilt PHP server which doesn't support SSL. So yeah, so that's our product.
Oh, stop breaking it.
So
Laptop went to sleep.
I've
Laptop went to sleep, so.
oh yeah, it'll lock itself. Sorry.
What's your password?
I think we're pretty much done. Aren't we? Yeah. So challenge-wise, technically, most of the challenges I think came from doing the mobile web app. I don't think these guys, you pretty much got to do what you wanted to do with the technologies we chose, didn't you? So yeah, the mobile progressive web app was probably the most challenging part.
You can show that SQL query that I wrote. It comes upwards and downwards.
Oh yeah, so that was a really good learn. So Midori was to serve up all the upvotes and downvotes for all the places. We first get the set of results from Google Places. We then send all the IDs to our system, and then it returns back with all the up and down votes for each individual one. And that was quite a complex.
Yeah, it's a SQL case run query. If its query is greater than 0, sums it as an upward. If the rating is minor than 0, it sums it as a downward. That doesn't.
So there's a case statement inside
Case
the select.
Select
So yeah, all in all, we're really happy with where we got to. Everyone got their own things out of the weekend. Vincent was saying that he got to use APIs and things like that he hadn't done before, the JavaScript front end. And also other stuff that me and Vincent got out of the weekend was like the other stuff, the wellness stuff. They're doing the meditation each morning, which I think was a really good addition to this year's event. Personally, most of the weekend for me it was more about mentoring and sharing knowledge with the teams up until doing the mobile stuff. I was doing things that I'd been comfortable with, so it's more about helping the others and that kind of stuff. I don't know if you want to mention kind of what you got out, because I didn't get a chance to get the information for you guys what you got out of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot. For me, technically everything is basically new for me. So apart from normal PHP code, everything is quite new. I never worked with APIs, never worked with setting up a database, or working these sort of interactions in websites. So for me, it was really, really interesting to technically and also to see how other people work and exchange ideas and processes and actually a lot of motivation.
Did you want to say anything about what you got out of the weekend?
I'm happy.
Yeah. There you go. So that's us, Team Grumpy.
Team Grumpy.